The Super Bowl is over, which means that the baseball season is officially on deck. I can practically smell the fresh cut grass, or even just the sound of pitchers and catchers reporting makes me want to run through a brick wall. But I will admit, though, some fans are not happy with how the offseason has gone in terms of pace, because top free agents like Cody Bellinger, Jordan Montgomery, Matt Chapman, Blake Snell, they haven't found a team yet, and they're blaming this man right here, Scott Boras. But we do have some signings and a trade to talk about in today's recap, so there are a few moves to break down. Also, Robert Manfred, he spoke on the Oakland A's future, so we're going to have to break that down as well. Guys, do me a favor, if you're brand new to the channel or you're just excited for baseball to be back and you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, hit that subscribe button. We are so close to 500,000. Thank you all so much for your support. Let's start talking baseball. So before we talk about the breaking signings as well as the one trade to go over, I do want to talk about a couple names: Jordan Montgomery, Cody Bellinger, Blake Snell, Matt Chapman, and JD Martinez. We're going to talk about those guys because they're all clients of Scott Boras, and fans across Major League Baseball are blaming Scott Boras for the boring offseason. And I'll admit, yeah, it's kind of been boring in terms of free agent signings. Now, the one thing I do want to remind you guys, Scott Boras has always been someone that takes his time. If you don't remember the 2019 offseason, Bryce Harper signed on March 1st. That's when the deal was made official. So he went into spring training without a deal officially done. So again, Scott Boras, he likes to kind of work in the shadows. He talks to the player and he gets exactly what that player wants almost every single time. Dating back even further to 2012, Prince Fielder signed a monster contract with the Tigers, but the only way that he was going to go to the Tigers is if Miguel Cabrera, Miggy, a future Hall of Famer, changed positions. Prince Fielder said, I want to play first base, and he got a ton of money. He still played first base for the Tigers, and they forced Miguel Cabrera to change positions. That's how good Scott Boras is at negotiating contracts and getting the players what they want. So does it kind of suck that Cody Bellinger and Blake Snell do not have a team yet weeks before spring training? Yeah, that's kind of boring from a fan's perspective. But while it's boring, I also think it's necessary because Scott Boras, what is he good at? He is great at being a shark and making the owners squirm. And anytime that the owners are forced into playing fair and the players have all of the power, I'm for it. So it makes my job harder. Scott Boras is not a fan of Fuzzy from YT because I've had almost nothing to talk about the last few weeks. But if players get what they want and they are constantly resetting the market and getting more money and more money, I'm all for it. As a fan, we're just going to have to take it off the chin and understand they're going to get signed eventually. It's just going to take some time. I know some people are not going to like that answer, but hey, if we can take away more power from the owners and give it to the players, that's exactly what Scott Boras does. I'm going to accept it. All right, let's talk about a trade that just recently happened. Nick Gordon is going to the Miami Marlins in exchange for a lefty reliever by the name of Steven Okert. So this is the second time that a Gordon brother has been on the Marlins over the last few seasons. Nick Gordon, he is the brother of D. Strange Gordon. You guys remember, he was with the Marlins once upon a time. Now, to me, this is very much a win-win trade. Let's talk about what the Twins are getting real quick because I feel like Steven Okert, he's a guy that a lot of casual fans do not know about, but he can be good when he's pitching like a healthy Steven Okert. I keep saying Okert. There is no CK. It is Okert. Since 2021, Okert has pitched in 87 innings as a reliever for the Miami Marlins, and he's put up a 2.89 ERA and a very impressive 10.6 strikeouts per nine. The only thing that you have to worry about in terms of Okert getting himself into trouble is the fact that he does walk quite a few guys. He has a 4.2 walks per nine over the last few years, but hey, he kind of fixed that in 2023. He had a 3.7 walks per nine, but the problem is he gave up a lot more hits. It ballooned to a 7.7 hits per nine, the highest since 2017 for Mr. Okert. So over the span of a few weeks, the Twins have kind of reshaped their bullpen. They picked up Justin Topa or Topa. I can't remember how to say his last name, but he came from the Mariners. They also picked up Jay Jackson, who was pretty decent last year. He had a 2-point-something ERA, and then they picked up Steven Okert. So pretty good arms for that bullpen. I like this. Now, if we talk about Nick Gordon, he was not great in 2023. He only had 91 at-bats, and in those 91 at-bats, a 176 batting average and a 35 OPS plus. So let's focus on the season prior 2022 when he was actually healthy. He had a pretty bad injury over 2023, so that's why he was not very good. Nick had 28 doubles and a 109 OPS plus over the course of 2022, but the stats that we're going to focus on, I think that's what the Marlins are focusing on, his stats versus righties. In 325 at-bats, he hit 290 with a 125 OPS plus, so this guy, in my opinion, is going to be a complete platoon bat, whether it's in the outfield or whether it's at second base, and to me, this sets up on a tee the Marlins signing Tim Anderson. I think that Tim Anderson is going to to sign a 1-year prove-it deal. He's going to be a platoon second baseman with Nick Gordon. Maybe that's his redemption arc, but yeah, Nick, he's very, very good against righties, and in 2022, he actually hit the baseball pretty hard. Look at his baseball savant. So to me, Gordon for Okert, I feel like this is a win-win. It's a win for the Twins. They get some bullpen depth. The Marlins get a guy who's trying to prove himself as well. He's coming back from injury. So for me, I feel like Nick Gordon, it just sets up the possibility that Tim Anderson is going to be a part-time second baseman for the Marlins, because we haven't really heard anything about Tim Anderson. He kind of ruined his own career, in my opinion. Once upon a time, our next player was considered to be a top 3, maybe even top 1 best catcher in baseball. Yasmani Grandal is going to the Pirates. He's going to be replacing a bunch of different guys, including Roberto Perez, Austin Hedges over the last few years. It's been rough for a Pirates fan in terms of catchers. Now, it does suck that this kind of comes at the expense of Endy Rodriguez, who suffered a UCL injury in December, which basically means he needs Tommy John surgery. He's going to be out for a while. That's really the only reason why the Pirates were in the market for a catcher. And Grandal, I guess he's going to fill that void, and he's been terrible over the last few seasons. In 2023, he had a 77 OPS plus, which was better than his 2022 season, where he had a 64 OPS plus. So over his last 2 seasons combined, he's played in 217 games. He only has 13 home runs, a 305 on base percentage, and a 71 OPS plus. Before that, I mean, he was incredible at getting on base. From 2018 to 2021, Yasmani had a combined 376 on base percentage and a near 130 OPS plus. On top of that, he was one of the best defensive catchers in baseball in terms of framing. He was elite at that. But everything else has completely regressed in terms of Yasmani Grandal's game. The pop time, the exit velocities, getting on base via the walk. I mean, there's a reason why no one but the Pirates wanted Yasmani, who again a few years ago was considered to be a top 5, top 3, maybe even best catcher in baseball. Here's a fun little story for you guys. Jurickson Profar is going back to the Padres because that's the only place where he's actually a decent baseball player. Check this out. From 2012 to 2019, Jurickson Profar played for the Rangers and the A's, and he put up an 89 OPS plus. He was not good really at all. In 2020, he joins the Padres and he puts up a 343 on base percentage with a 114 OPS plus. Then he kind of fell off the next year in 2021 with an 83 OPS plus. But in 2022 with the Padres, he was pretty good. He had a 109 OPS plus with 36 doubles and 15 home runs. That's a lot of production. He's not very good defensively, though. I'll just throw that out there. Then he joins the Rockies over the offseason in 2023. He puts up a 76 OPS plus, some of the worst defense I've ever seen. Then he goes back to the Padres in the second half, and in 14 games, he hits 295 with a 117 OPS plus. So he was back to being kind of good. And the best part is he went from a negative 11 DRS with the Rockies to a positive 2 DRS with the Padres. So everything got fixed as soon as he went back to San Diego. So he's back where he's comfortable. And there you go. We are going to talk about Robert Manfred's comments on the A's in just a second, but real quick, one more signing I do want to talk about. Spencer Turnbull, he is going to the Phillies, which I think is an excellent depth move. And the reason is pretty simple. His first 4 seasons in baseball, he had a 3.6 FIP. That is impressive because he had a 0.6 home runs per 9. So he was pretty decent at striking guys out, 8.5 strikeouts per 9. Again, he almost never allowed a home run. And once upon a time, Spencer Turnbull had a no-hitter. He was that good. I don't know how much stock we can put into his 2023 stats because, again, he was coming back from Tommy John surgery. The home runs per 9 ballooned to 1.5, which is still kind of league average, but to go from a 0.6 home runs per 9, that's your strength, to being doubled at 1.5, and the strikeouts went down as well as the walks going up. That's just rust. I feel like he's going to be a whole lot better, and for $2 million as a depth piece, I think this is smarter than giving Michael Lorenzen $10 to $12 million. All right, so let's quickly get an update on the A's situation, the fact that Robert Manfred actually spoke on the A's future over the last few days. So he essentially said that because the A's don't really have park renderings, so they released their first renderings a few months ago. They were supposed to release the updated ones in December, but that event was actually canceled, and rumors have it that the area in which they are going to build the new ballpark, it's at the Tropicana Hotel right now. They're going to demolish it. Rumor has it that there's not enough acreage to have a stadium with a retractable roof. And trust me, guys, as someone who's been a Las Vegas native since he's been born, 27, almost 28 years, you have to have a roof, and it has to be retractable because there are nice nights in Las Vegas, but in the daytime, when it's 115 degrees, you have to have a dome like Chase Field in Arizona. So again, the first ever renderings are kind of null and void because we don't know if they're going to be able to have a retractable roof. The updated renderings that was supposed to be at an event that was canceled in December. We have no plans for the 2025 to 2027 seasons because the Coliseum, their lease ends in 2024. So the A's, they're probably going to be playing there in 2024, I think. But Robert Manfred kind of concluded saying he's comfortable with the pace. He says that by 2028, the A's are hopefully going to have a stadium. And that's kind of the update for you guys in terms of the future of the A's. But that does it for today's recap. I hope that you guys are excited for baseball. And again, if you're brand new to the channel or you haven't subscribed yet, we're inching so close to 500,000. Do me a favor, help out the channel, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.